Okay, maybe we'll start because I see people are joining. Before even they're still joining. Maybe I want to say thank you very much for joining our webinar today. Your first impression is your lasting impression. First of all, I would like to also know, because I'm very interested, we have different people from different probably countries logging into. So if you want to share with us, for example, from which location are you based now, and are you joining us? So that's quite interesting. And then we start. So if you are logging now or you're logged, you can just write in the chatter where are you based, and that will be very interesting for us. We have, okay, Switzerland, Sao Paulo, London, US, Netherlands, Zurich, amazing. Milan, all the best places in the world. Indonesia, Lugano, great. Switzerland, amazing. Great, good to know that we have such an exciting audience from different parts of the world, and we can share with you our knowledge. So my name is Eliza. I am a founder of a digital platform called DiscoverNewU. And the goal of my project and the platform is to help people to improve their potential in life. And the potential, what does it mean? It can be on different topics. We are working with coaches and experts from different industry to improve your life on a level like health. It could be physical or mental health, and nutrition, fitness, trainings, corporate and individuals. It could be your first impressions, so personal style. Also your communication, public speaking abilities, and opportunity to connect better with the audience, and also finance and career, which is very exciting. Also topic because at the moment people are looking for a job, and it's a great opportunity to learn more and how to sell yourself on the market. And finance, sometimes we're spending more that we actually get paid, so maybe sometimes management of the money and how we can more invest and get more growing money rather than only spending them out. And so this is actually the topics we're covering, and today we are going to talk about your first impression. As I mentioned before, I don't know if anyone actually know, it's like 3 seconds when you make an impression on someone and he make a judgment on you. That's why we are gathering here with 3 experts. I'm going to talk as well. I'm also a designer and stylist. I love learning about the fashion and give my experience from Dublin and Milan in Italy about how to dress yourself to look very interesting and successful. And today I'm going to share it with you, some tips about your style as a business card, your colors. Hopefully you enjoy it. And we also have 2 great experts. We have Antonio Oliva. He's a systematic career coach, and he will go and tell you through about your online visibility. So how to, make a very attractive LinkedIn profile, about your photo, about your telling very interesting story on your LinkedIn, using LinkedIn. And things at the moment, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool for everyone. And a great opportunity to meet your clients, partners, and to build your personal brand. And we also have a Claire Corbett. She's a corporate coach, and she will tell about how to create a first good impression in the corporate world. So I think everybody are muted, so that's good because we don't have any disturbance in technology. Somehow we have a problem with Zoom or Teams, different product, but today it's perfect, so I'm happy. Just let you know that if you have any questions according to our webinar, you can ask the questions at the end, and then I try to, and the coaches try to answer all the questions that you have. The webinar will be around 1 hour. If it will be longer and you have more questions, then of course we can answer them separately. You can contact us, info@discovernewu.net. Right? So I hope that's it. So maybe I begin first. I am an image consultant and stylist as well. And I had an experience in 10 years working for technology and corporation, where I see how important is your personal style, because I was attending so many conferences and meeting clients face to face. My passion was about your personal look, how important it is. So today I'm going to share with you a short presentation. So just let me know if you see the presentation. Let me see.
And Eliza, it's Claire here. Sorry to interrupt. There's some people who are not on mute. Maybe and video as well.
Really? Maybe then unmute. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. I'll try to mute them. Mute all. Yeah, if anyone can, like, I try to mute everybody, but I don't know where is the sound coming from. So maybe now. Is it better now? I don't know. Is it better? I hope it's better now.
Yes, so we can start. There is an echo, unfortunately.
Okay.
So maybe someone is still not on mute.
So yeah, if anyone is not muted, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So let me know, do you see my screen now, my presentation, or?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, okay, great. So I still have 12 minutes left. I don't want to take anyone more time. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about your first impression, which is your lasting impression. And if you think about it, we make impression all the time on ourselves, even in the office sometimes when we meet our colleagues on the break. And have you ever think about how important is your personal style and first impression, even going, you know, outside or meeting people in your office, talking to other people? It is very crucial because it brings you lots of success. It's your business card and personal brand. And also very important aspect is your colors. So do they really matter or they don't matter? I don't know, what do you think? But if you think about people who are working at the moment in different industries and they're public speaking, events, gathering, they're senior executive in a position like sales, real estate, recruitment, insurance, finance, they always are in front of the customers, clients, potential partners, colleagues, and then actually are in the center of attention. Don't forget about that. So I bring here example here of 4 people, which actually are quite inspiring. One of them is my colleague on the right. He's working for Credit Suisse. So his first impression is very important. I mean, he's you know, meeting his clients, and each client is very important to gain him as his client. So I mean, the first impression, personal brand and look, and what he wears is pretty important. Then we have Bob Proctor. He's quite famous in US. He's a public speaker, self-development mentor, and he all the time is doing lots of conferences. That's why his suit and his tie and his shirt need to be perfect, need to be matched, need to be also matched with the colors, design, and the pattern. And we also have Sandy Gallagher. She's a lawyer. She's actually working with Bob Proctor. So also her design and their look and her style need to be, always on the first page. Here we have, I did a photo shooting in Dublin for a corporate world, and I was styling this model. And this is my work, an example that when we think about the audience, when we think about exactly where we are going and what type of commercial it is, we also need to think about proper suit and the colors and even his scarf, pocket, and his tie is very important. So just don't forget about that. This 3 seconds of meeting your clients, partners, coworkers is so crucial. We don't want to lose the clients. We want to make on them an amazing impression, and we want to build long-lasting relationship with them. So exactly what I was talking about, what is your style? Style is your business card and your personal brand. It's only 3 seconds when people actually make a judgment on you. And we are also having different types of style in different types of industry. When you think about banking or insurance or marketing department or technology, there's a different dress code. And people also have different colors, because the colors also in design and style has a meaning. At the moment, because we're always after the coronavirus and we are still working from home, so I discovered a new style, smart working style. So it's a style when you actually using technology, you don't need to be so formal in a tie, or this online visibility could be a little bit more relaxed, but still don't forget to wear yourself in a proper way. So also, when we think about our style, we are thinking about the colors. So when you're choosing your business or casual style and you want to make some impression, don't forget the colors has a meaning as well. So whenever you're choosing a suit and you're working in banking industry, as I said, the colors has a meaning, and people remember you and make an impression as well. Reading your colors. So that's why in banking industry here, especially in Zurich, the men are using very conservative color, blue navy, and people who are more creative in technology or marketing, they can allow yourself to use more very strong colors and very lively colors, because different colors also show emotions and expressions. So designers are always thinking about it, and you think about even when I was a child and I go to some playgrounds or even some fun place, the colors has a meaning. So they're very optimistic, very funny design to attract positivism for kids. Don't make them boring with the dark colors. So in design of architecture is exactly the same. So and also shows your character. So if you think about the person, is the person boring? Is the person positive? If he's more open person, you can read it by his style and by his colors. And this is, for example, an example just to give you an overview. I chose these 4 colors, pretty interesting. This is red, blue, navy, green, and orange. And all the colors has their own characters, they show emotions, and they give you some overview. So for some reason, red colors has a meaning of prestige, power, and that's why I think President of US is using the red tie. He wants to show his prestige. He's responsible for so many things in the country. So not on purpose, he's wearing this red car, which is very, also very recognizable and kind of, but when we think then about more conservative colors, then we think about insurance or banking industry. The men usually have this blue navy, which means building a trust with the client, and I can trust you, so you can have a long-lasting relationships and invest money with me, let's say. Then we have a gray color is more conformist color, it's very natural color also. If you don't want to have a conflict with someone, then I think this is a perfect color for you. And then if you are more creative, innovative, and you know, you want to show really, maybe you're developing something, or you're a designer, or maybe a lady in a design studio, she can definitely put a yellow color on herself. So I think, remember, everywhere you're going, what color suits you, what occasion you can put different color, because actually they'll show your character and your emotion, and people will identify yourself in terms of that color. Here I have an example of you as well in terms of the style and meaning and reading of the colors. For example, I choose here our partner of DiscoverNewU. We are working also with Gianluca Ravarezzo, who is based in Milan, and he's designing different types of customized suits. And I like that he has a choice for each personality, for each style, and to build your own brand. So that's why I give you an example and differences in style at the moment. So you have elegant casual style, classic style, and business casual style. And what is quite modern now, I think, and change a lot in the fashion and in business, that people anymore doesn't wear so many ties. So as you said, this two jackets has a normal shirt with no tie. And when you put your scarf, it still looks elegant. You relax. People read you, you know, very professional. So it doesn't mean that you all the time need to, you know, wear your tie. And sometimes it's, you know, maybe sometimes annoying. I don't know how the guys think about it, but yeah. And now, you know, you can be more creative, I think so. And even if you look at this, the third one, the red one, which is very powerful, some people in business wouldn't wear that in the banking maybe, but I mean, if you want to show your visibility, it's very powerful, strong color, but you can match your scarf, pocket scarf, with your tie, totally different. So it doesn't mean anymore that the pattern on both slices need to be the same. Now the fashion is changing, so I mean, you can more be creative, you know, discover your personal style, and then even meet with designer, and he can design for you your perfect suit. And don't forget as well, if you really want to look professional, don't forget, especially if you're a man, in terms of accessories. So shoes, and as I said, this scarf pocket, then different ties, the pants, belts, and shoes. It doesn't mean everything need to be boring and need to match the same colors. And at the end, we have our maybe perfect style for now, for online visibility and meeting clients online. This guy here has a very normal light shirt, and I think the shirt is from line maybe, so it's not so you know, not so strong, because it's warm now, and sometimes it's hard to, you know, sit in a strong garments and materials. So it's very relaxed, but still elegant, and still you can make impression when you're talking on your colleagues within your Teams meeting, or your client in front of the camera online. So this is from your style perspective. And when we are now talking about the ladies, here are 3 examples of different also style for the ladies: elegant in business, business casual, comfortable online, and smart working. So as well, I mean, it depends where you're working. So maybe if you think about, I can give you now a small task. If you can tell me, looking at these 3 ladies, if you think about the identification of their occupation, what would you say about first, second, and third lady? Where do they work? What did they do in life? So you can give me some examples now, maybe, and why do you think so? That would be good, if you want. And write in a chapter, for example, the first lady, second lady, and the third lady. What do you think, where they can use this dress or that suit or that that shirt, on which occasion, and if you have an idea. Businesswoman, incorporate the first, lawyer, marketing arts, top management, marketing aperitif, business. Yeah, right. Business office, client facing. Yeah, marketing executive. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, that's enough. Thanks very much. So I think you're quite experienced. That's good to know that, but I hope you still remember. Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. The first one, the black, so very formal, very conservative color in professions such as lawyer, accountancy, in front of the client. The second one, more marketing related, exactly, because I'm not sure if it will be not too much to go to the bank with this, strong yellow. And then we have more relaxed, maybe after work, some meetings and more online visibility. So this is how you read people. So I mean, very important also, if you think about that, you can make a little bit these outfits more interesting if you want. I mean, you can add, for example, jewelry. So I use here the jewelry of our partner as well, DiscoverNewU, and run it. And she do beautiful jewelry, very elegant and very proper for business meeting as well. If you're interested to learn more, you can contact me, because I can share with you some of her work, and you can also get some discount in terms of buying this jewelry. But she has a beautiful jewelry from the pieces of the horn and pearls as well. And I mean, it's not too much to put it of any of this outfit, and bring a little bit more visibility and elegance. So yeah, so I think from my perspective, it's that's the end. But I will leave you maybe with the task now when you go home or you finish this webinar. I'm sure you will meet some people on the street, or maybe, your colleagues, and try to now start to look at him or her in this aspect. If you didn't know him, or what would you think about him? So if his jumper and his trousers and her dress is okay and enough, is she really highlight the brand, the profession she or he is doing, or maybe there's some things to improve. So if there's to improve, so I'll be happy to help you or him, and you can always contact me. This is the brands we are working on the platform. So Atelier Averrazzo in Milan. I also choose Massimo Dutti. I think for every man, this is quite affordable price, and they're nice casual and business stuff. And also for women, I choose Karen Miller, English brand, Pinko, and Ronitz, which I mentioned, the jewelry designer. So you can always contact me and get in touch if you need more qualification in terms of your personal style. So I hope that will be a little bit interesting in terms of your brand. And now I will share my speech with Claire Corbett. She's a corporate trainer, and she's going to talk about self-awareness, how to be visible in a good way, and to make a good impression in corporate world, which is very, very interesting. So I stop sharing, and now Claire?
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Lisa, you can let me know on the chat.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we
Super.
can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. I assume you can see me now as well.
Yes, perfectly. See
Great.
and hear.
Great. So first of all, welcome everyone. There's, as we saw, there's people from all over the world dialing in, which is fantastic. And Eliza, thank you so much for having me as a guest speaker. I'm also a strategic advisor for DiscoverNewU, because it's an exciting new business and a wonderful platform for everyone to find the help they need to improve their lives and, as Eliza said, reach their potential. So before we get started, I want to share a personal story with you about my experience with first impressions. And it's going back around 15 years, and I was working in a corporate bank in the UK. And I had a new boss coming, and I knew that he was a big cheese from London, and I was really excited to meet him. And this is where first impressions, I really got my first taste of how important first impressions really are. So I was all set, I put on my best business outfit, and I was ready to meet my new boss. And then, so this man walks in. I knew he had a reputation of being somewhat, what's the word, confident. But when I met him for the very first time, the first few seconds, I formed an instant first impression of him. And unfortunately, it wasn't a good one. He didn't hold my eye contact. He barely shook my hand. He was looking at his phone and at his computer. He didn't really engage with me. He was like distracted. And unfortunately, that first impression really affected our relationship, our business relationship for the next few months, until such time as I got to know him a bit better. And then I gave him the feedback when I felt comfortable to do so. And he was totally unaware of the impact that he had on me. And that's the first part of my, my content this evening is about self-awareness. And I will share some slides with you in a minute, but I think it's a really important point that I want to talk about while I'm on video, is some people are completely unaware of how they affect other people when they meet them for the first time. So what I want for everyone on the call this evening is to become a little bit more self-aware of, well, how do we say hello to people for the first time? How do we greet them? And it's also important online now because we are living in a changed world and more of us are having online meetings, and that's also crucially important. It's as important and it's the same level of impact, the presence we have online as it is in person. So self-awareness is really crucial. So when we are meeting a person for the first time, of course it's how we look, and it's also as important how we make that person feel. So if we want to meet someone and make them feel a connection with us, then we hold the eye contact, we smile at them, even if, and I don't mean a fake smile, so just watch that one, because it's a soft smile. And if you don't feel like smiling at that particular moment, you can smile with your eyes and be welcoming with your expression. Because people pick up not just, of course they take you in visually with your eyes, but they also take in the chemistry or the energy that you're giving out. And that is really important. So when we meet someone for the first time, it's important to remember lots of different aspects to how we create a first impression. So just before we jump into the slides, I'm curious to know, I've mentioned a few, but maybe you can just type one word in the chat for me and let me know how do you think you form an opinion of someone when you meet them for the first time? So just type a quick word on chat, and obviously what they're wearing, as Elisa has covered, is paramount because we are visual beings and we take everyone in with our eyes, because in the first few seconds, that's our brain working. But there are other senses at work at the same time as our visual. So do me a favor and write a quick word as to how you think or what you base your first impression on when you meet somebody. And maybe you can just quickly write in chat for me.
Okay, Claire, yeah, you don't see it, but we have voice, body language, eyes, smile, attitude.
Great.
Yeah.
I see them now, sorry, 12 new body language, perfect. I can see it now, thank you guys. Voice, yeah, so tone is really important, and eye contact, and online as well. My top tip for online eye contact, by the way, is putting a little red dot sticker or some bright color sticker right where the camera is on your phone or on your machine. Because what happens is people look at the little picture of themselves talking, which I'm doing now, so I'm looking off to the side. Whereas if you're looking at the camera, then you're looking into the person's eyes and you're holding that eye contact, which is super important to make that connection. Body language is huge as well. That's a great thank you from Antonio and Sigrid. Body language as well, when we meet somebody and we are open and we are we have a positive body language and we're not folding our arms and being defensive, or even online if we're hunched over or we don't have our sitting up straight, this all makes for a positive first impression when our body language is strong, it's positive, and it's welcoming. And a smile. I mean, really, I think that is one of the most underrated one, because when we meet someone and you instantly have a smile from the other person, that relaxes you when you meet somebody new. Whereas my boss back in the corporate world that I mentioned earlier, he didn't have a smile, he wasn't welcoming, and you know, it damaged the relationship. And that's why a lasting impression is really formed in the first few seconds. And that's why this topic is so crucial for all of us, whether we're interviewing for a job, having a meeting with a new client, or even socially when we meet new people. It's really good to be aware of all of the elements that make up a first good impression. So moving on, thank you for your suggestions on you know, all those elements that make up a first good impression. So I'm going to start my screen share now and share with you my slides. So Lisa, I think you have to enable my screen sharing because you're the host. So if you can, I can keep talking while you do that. So I'll just, whilst I'm waiting to screen share, I will talk you through self-awareness, a little bit more on that. So what is self-awareness? It is a sound understanding of who you are and also the impact of your actions on others, so that you realize that when you shake someone's hand, not in these days, but normally when you shake someone's hand, that handshake is the first contact you have, physical contact with that person. And a nice firm handshake can be a huge impact on somebody. So also, as we said, the expression, the body language, and also that you really give out a positive energy from yourself when you're meeting somebody. And it is that awareness of how you come across. And an exercise that I'd like you to think about doing is people that you've met in the past. Ask them, what was your first impression of me when you met me for the very first time? It's a really interesting question, because sometimes people will say to you, oh, well, I thought you were very offstandish, but then when I got to know you, I realized that you're actually a very nice person, a very friendly person. And sometimes we become defensive when we meet somebody, or we're a little bit nervous, so we become a little bit bravado, or there's lots of things that our own defense mechanisms can throw up for us that can really impact our first impression and how we come across. So self-awareness is really an important point when it comes to first impressions, being aware of how you come across. And how you do that is pay attention when you meet someone for the first time. Just say to yourself, I'm going to smile now when I meet this person, or I'm going to uncross my arms, or I'm going to have a nice straight shoulders and a straight back, and I'm going to speak clearly. This is another way of being self-aware, and to slow our speech down, because some of us will often get nervous depending on the situation. For example, if you're going for a job interview and you really want the job, it is very common that we speed up when we're nervous and we start to chatter. So it's just taking some deep breaths, really noticing how we're coming across, and in the moment being very self-aware. So that's the first point that I'd like to cover this evening. And now I can screen share, so just give me a second. Fantastic. Thank you, Elisa.
No problem.
So we've gone through self-awareness, and you'll get a copy of these slides, so don't worry about catching all the details. A sound understanding of who you are, how you relate to the world in which you live, and and aware of your impact of the actions on others. And then we already covered how you form an opinion when you meet someone first. So it is a lot of it's visual, and there are some other elements as well, like the tone of your voice, how you speak, the eye contact, and so on. And then why are first impressions so important? The first key element to even caring about how we come across is trust. The most important thing that we want when we connect with somebody, whether it's in an interview, in a meeting, if it's a new client, whatever it is, you want to establish trust. And this is one of the foundations of a lasting first impression and a lasting relationship. The second element is you want to create empathy with the person. So you want to be approachable. You want to really connect with people and show that you care. So this is really important as well as to why we want to make a good first impression, because we want to be empathetic and connect with the person. The third element of a first impression is likability. So this is really, we want to like people, we want to be liked. And this is really important about creating that likability factor from the beginning. So how do we do this? How do we create a good first impression? So we've covered through these already a little bit, but let's just run through the list. Smile, good handshake, speak clearly, eye contact, positive body language, and use someone's name. So psychologists have proved that when you use somebody's name, not overuse it, but when you use it in conversation, when in a meeting, that actually creates a positive effect in the other person's brain. And be careful to use the person's name correctly. And if you're not sure, I always say to people, if you're not sure of somebody's name or how to pronounce it, I always just ask. It's always better to just be truthful and say, remind me of your name again, or how are you pronouncing your name exactly? I don't want to get it wrong. And that's showing that you're down to earth, you're being honest, and you're creating that trust from the beginning. And then online, so similar things are important, like smiling and being natural as possible. And I know, as I'm feeling this evening, it's not so natural to talk into a camera when we're at home and we're not in person, but it does get easier with practice. And try and be as natural as possible and be yourself, because that will come across in your online meetings. And as I mentioned before, looking at the camera is really important, and just put that little dot, because it's easy to get distracted with screens and moving parts. So it's always good to remind yourself to keep looking back at the camera and connect with your audience. Speaking clearly, we've covered that already. Not speaking too fast, slowing it down. Another key tip for online creating a good impression is the mute button. As we saw at the beginning of the webinar, Elisa asked us to all mute our buttons. And then when you're actually in an interview or a meeting, my advice is stay on mute until you need to talk, because you just don't know when you're not talking. There could be, I don't know, a big truck passing by, a phone could ring, you could have lots of disturbances noise-wise, and it's better to stay on mute. But don't forget to come off mute when you have something to say. Look fresh and presentable. So obviously not first thing in the morning when you roll out of bed, is you know, to put on some nice outfits like Elisa had covered. Look fresh, presentable, as you would if you were walking into a meeting room with somebody. Pick a nice bright place to do your meetings online. This also creates a good first impression. To make sure it's bright without any distractions. you know, not with a window behind, with cars going up and down or whatever it is. Just a bright place without distraction. Ideally, a background like I have behind and the other presenters have. It can be a white background. It can be your office for sure. That gives a little bit of an insight into your home office. And then also watch your time, which I need to do, is just be careful of the time. If you have an online meeting, be careful that you don't run over, because there is a tendency when we're online to get a little bit lax about time. And then always say thank you, because we don't have the opportunity when we have an online meeting to actually shake hands, say goodbye, and say thank you. So just remember always to round off your online meetings well, and that will leave people with a great first impression, because you've left with a thank you, you've closed the meeting properly, and they will remember you for that. So moving on to another question, which I'd like to ask your opinion on and get you involved, is how do we become more visible? Now, this could be in the workplace, and it can also be online. So I want to know your thoughts about how you become visible. It can be online or in person. So just give me your thoughts, just a quick on the chat. Hopefully I can see it. Just as to how you can really become visible and in a good way. So give me your ideas on that, please. Proper look and body language, yes. Being engaged, absolutely. Looking interested, because, thank you, Kerry. So a lot of people might feel, oh, I'm on a call, and they start looking around and they start thinking about things, or they might get distracted with something on their desk. So looking interested, staying engaged, and having a signature style. Yes, Bridget. So it's about having a consistent signature style, and a personal brand is really important. So if you are, if you're giving your opinions, that you speak up as well. So thank you, Nivo. Speaking up and also listening. So making sure that you get the balance right between speaking up and also listening to the person you're on a call with, or if it's a group call, that you listen to the other people when they speak and present. So it's showing that respect as well, and becoming more visible that way. A small smart talk at the beginning. Yes, a good introduction is always a good way of becoming visible online, and really yeah, creating that presence, and that strong presence can be really engaging. Great. Thank you all for your comments. That's fantastic. So yeah, there's lots of ways to become visible, and I'll share with you now my tips and techniques. So claim your achievements. So this is, you can do this verbally, you can do this online, and a lot of people are a little bit shy about this, or they feel like they're bragging, but it's about claiming your achievements without bragging, because this is, yeah, it's about claiming what you've done and what you have, yeah, what you've done in the past. Be authentic and have integrity is always really important, to really be authentic and have integrity, because you don't want to be something you're not. Be good at what you do. Sharing free content is also a really good way to stay visible online and to get noticed and to really build your personal brand. Engage and support. So if it's online, you comment, you share, you engage, because this is a really good way to get visible, and you support other people in their careers, in their business, and so on. Always be professional, and building a strong personal brand, as we talked about. So again, you'll get copies of these lists, so don't worry if you don't catch all the points. They'll be sent out to you afterwards. And be consistent. You know, don't, so if you have a personal brand, make sure that's consistent through everything that you do. Your communication, online, offline, how you post, what you post about. So I'm going to leave you now, and I hope I haven't run too much over time. After the webinar, I'd like you to write a personal mission statement for your personal brand in about 3 sentences, and observe how you act when you meet someone for the first time, and 3 changes you would like to make or you could make to become visible online. So thank you, everyone. There's a little quote in here that you can read at a later point, but it's about how you make people feel. That was a quote by Maya Angelou. And you can contact me if you'd like to get in touch. And I will now hand over to the wonderful Antonio, who will enlighten you about LinkedIn and how, again, a very powerful tool to get more presence online, how to really use technology to build your personal brand and create a good first impression. So thank you everyone for listening, and I'll hand over to Antonio, and I look forward to hearing from you. Please follow me on Instagram, connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you. Have a great evening.
Thanks
Thanks very much.
Please, you were saying?
Yeah, you go ahead, Antonio. Now Antonio's career and systematic coach will be covering the LinkedIn topic. Exactly.
Yes, thank you both for the introduction. I hope I make a proper first impression, and I learned a lot through both your webinars. I hope I'm dressed properly and I'm smiling properly. But anyway, what I'm today trying to give you is, beside covering the psychology of the first impression and the physical appearance, body language, and also how you dress. My point is, before even having the chance to have a personal meeting, we need to be able to engage online, especially nowadays. So let me introduce through my PowerPoint presentation. Yes, another one, I know. Do you see?
I think Claire needs to stop sharing her screen.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah. Claire, can you stop sharing? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we see your presentation, Antonio.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, my name, you can read my name. I coach clients on different career subjects, among them on how to be successful on LinkedIn. And recruiters normally take an average of 6 seconds reviewing a personal resume. But what if it's not your resume or your website? What if instead is it your LinkedIn profile? Would it tell the story you want it to? What about your first impression? Now, LinkedIn is well known as being the largest professional website in the world, probably. They say over 600 million registered members. So you have a big audience. And by the way, I don't work for LinkedIn. Maybe I should. But yes, it's very important to have it. In a short, I'm going to give you my personal recipe for an astonishing first impression on LinkedIn. It has 6 ingredients: your profile picture, the headlines, the passion that you express in the summary, the ability to create some content, recommendation, and a personal touch to your messaging. So when it comes to a large audience like the one in LinkedIn, well, the question is, what are they seeing when they find you? Now, people often invest a lot of effort in getting very detailed career accomplishment, like the experience section. But as we learned now from my previous talkers, and through also the social media like Instagram and LinkedIn, the first impression is very often given by a picture, okay? So either you get a professional one, you pay them, or you pick up a nice one. But here I'm gonna give you some do's and don'ts that will help you to avoid making some mistakes. And I invite you kind of suggestion in the chat, what's wrong with the profile picture. And the profile picture is the one, the rounded one, in the circle. This is the first one. What is according to you is something that it's not really working in this one. Let me see the chat, if I can see the chat. In fact, I can't see the chat.
You can't see, so I'll help you.
Now I see. I had the same problem as Claire. Yes, close to the camera. Very good. Sunglasses, guys. We are Tom Cruise here. Yes, it looks like a selfie. So please don't. No eye contact, no smile. It tells a lot about personality. You have to engage the audience. Very good. What about this one, guys? I covered some names despite the fact that information are public on LinkedIn. Out of respect, I just thought to, but there are real cases, of course. Yeah, too small. We can't see the face. This is the professional Facebook. So it's too small, yeah. What else? Should focus on the face. Too far away, yes. This is a picture with a background where he's probably working. So we are not interested really in that section to understand where he is. We need to see the face to make it recognizable when we meet him, for example, in an event, and no contact, eye contact again, very well. Almost self-explanatory, but still I want to mention that. It's pretty clear. Who is who, right, Daniela? Who I'm talking to you. Exactly, two personal people. I just mentioned some of the examples. Some people even put a group picture. Here we are not on Facebook. Here is about identifying the person I'm talking to. All right. And shouldn't have a drink in the hand. Allow it. This one. Do I have to talk? This is a real case of a real CEO and has no profile picture. Exactly. Probably it's a technical problem or he forgot. Anyway, it's very, very important to put it. Thank you very much for your suggestion. Okay, now, this is a good example of a professional picture, a professional profile photo. So, in fact, just having the picture make your profile 14 times more likely to be viewed by others. So make sure it is a professional one. So probably you have to pay $200, $300 or euro, whatever it is. Or if you don't have this one or this money, or you're closed up at home or the coronavirus, you're having an online interview, well, do it by yourself. How? Well, there are a couple of things you have to observe. First of all, you should do it with a background that's plain color. Better if it's a wall or a sheet. Better is if it's inside, not outside, because direct light isn't so good. Make sure that there is no, how can I say, features of the house that are identifiable, like, I don't know, blinds, dogs, couches, and so on. Take a tripod or engage a neighbor or a friend. Use a timer, and they're very important. Keep a distance between your body and the wall. This meter gives the best option and is against shadowing and so on. And then just shot tons of pictures until you find someone is something or some that really identifying yourself. Smile, talk, even listening to some music. Try to relax, because most of the time we are very stiff in our pictures. So once you have found the one, well, you have to edit with some Photoshop. I will suggest you, will give you then the PowerPoint presentation afterwards per email, giving some adjustment suggestions, but you have to make it rounded, and you need to make it a little bit professional. That's very important. So there is a very interesting website. It's called photo feeler, and this gives you a kind of a feedback, a professional feedback in how it appears, and gives you some KPIs, some numbers, if it's likable, it's competent, and so on. So if you're alone again, maybe you can get a feedback from this website. Now, when it comes to the background banner, it's very important because, you know, it's your opportunity to create a first impression. And some people just use the default image, this blue banner with the dots and the lines, probably because they even don't know that you can customize this with an uploaded photo. Well, LinkedIn is all about branding. And with the right messaging, both visual and text, you can create a better impression. Now, it's very important that you don't brag, you don't overemphasize what you do, but I want to show you some example of what you can put as a banner background image. Well, first of all, your environment, where you work, who you're working with, what's the type of work? Are you a consultant? Are you a people person? So even if the people you're working with are not the real for confidentiality problems, you still can grab a stock image from the internet. But this is a very powerful one. Another one is the benefits of your clients, what they becoming, what's they becoming through your services that you offer to them. Because promoting your specific product and service actually talks to the emotions of the person, their buying impulses. So if you show that, I don't know, your agency, your traveling agency is offering a very relaxing river, it's probably way more powerful than words. Or if you work, for example, in the energy sector, wind farms could be another example. Or in the very end, you can even ask some graphic designer to help you with that, or you can Google and try to understand the name of the sector, what it gives out. It's very important anyway, that when you search, that you respect some legal issues, the use of the image that you have. So if you want to skip that thing, there are some very useful websites like Pexels of Pinterest or Unsplash, where you can use some very cool and free pictures for your banners. There are someone more professional, you have to pay a fee, but that's an option that you have. Okay, headline. That's very important. So to give a very first impression needs also creating a message, okay? Visual and text. So next to your profile picture, the headline should be written in a way that intrigues the people and makes them, I really want to read and find out more about the profile. And this needs to be short and catchy. This is exactly the section where the headline is positioned. And I would say most of the people use that for the job title, okay? However, does the job title really encapsulate you or the impact that you have in the company or on the clients? So we still are talking about rules of marketing. So what you don't have to do or shouldn't do is to put anything else. Some people have put their website. Well, a website with your name and last name doesn't really tell a lot about who you are, what you're offering. Instead, and by this, try not to use the so-called buzzwords, meaning that you are the best in the world, the most expert. Bragging doesn't really fit. It's a little bit exaggerating, I would say. So try still to use your unique selling proposition, be yourself, but without exaggerating. I put here an example I found very interesting. Adrian, beside the pictures, really involving, I would say, he's very clear about what he's looking for. And let me save you the suspense. If you are unemployed or changing career, make sure that people know you're looking. LinkedIn is a network where you figure out that you're a giver, yes, but also a taker. So if you're looking for something, just put it clearly. I like very much also Mark's profile. Probably is more a giver in that sense, but you can read the role, the passion, and has a very impactful banner. You immediately understand what kind of professional you're talking with. Passion. When it's a passion, then you need to be able to describe yourself. So if the headline is the salutation, the summary is more the elevator pitch. That's very important. I want to keep it short, but to make great impact, you need to be, how can I say, to put something that's very personal about you. Normally, that's your goals and your passion. But I would give you one only suggestion because otherwise I keep it too long. By default, LinkedIn shows only 3 lines of your profile summary. So you have to be very catchy in these 3 ones in order to involve or in order to make the person be, okay, let me read more. I put you just one of the example I found very interesting about this software developer that starts with, I code fire coding, and it makes me already be curious what's beyond that. Share content, create content. Well, if you have enough contacts and you publish anything, you have the ability to engage your audience with some useful content. So either you post something from someone else or you create. Anyway, your clients, your recruiters, your prospect will see you as an expert in the field or someone that is interested. And don't get too excited in writing your posts. You don't have to write weekly, but stay engaged, and yeah, liking and posting already shows what you're posting on the wall. And as you can see, you can reach a lot of views. Show candidates that you rock. What I mean by that, there's a section that's called skills and endorsement. You have to open it up. You have to put at least some of the skills, and afterwards people can endorse you or not. What you can do is simply asking your clients, your colleagues, your former colleagues to endorse you on the specific skills that you think you have. Another very important thing is recommendation. I warmly would suggest you to have at least 3 of them, because recruiters or sometimes even clients have a look at that. And finally, yeah, to be personal mean also to be sure that since we build up our social reality construction, maybe people don't understand exactly what you're talking or what is the message you want to give. Then just simply ask a feedback again to your working colleagues, to the people that know you the most, even to your clients. Is it really me? Does it represent me? And by getting these feedbacks, you can improve, and it could be really more authentic. So to sum it up, polish up your profile, put a smiley and stylish and professional picture, be genuine, describing yourself in the headline or in the summary, share or create some useful content, ask for feedback, and mostly, well, try to be yourself. I hope you still there and not got too bored. I guess we came to the conclusion. If you have any questions, I guess this is the time.
Right. That was really useful. Thank you very much, Antonio. I really like your presentation. Yeah, exactly. If you have any questions now, Yeah, you can put in the chatter to any of us. So
Okay.
this is the time for answering the questions. Daniela has a question for Antonio. What to show on LinkedIn if you want to change the field into which you work?
Well, I would say if you want to change, first of all, posting or sharing the new topics you want to talk about or the new sector that you want to enter, it's a very good idea. After some posts, people see the new sector, the new field that you want to work for. Another thing is endorsements, because they tell a lot. Of course, if you're entering a new career, a shifting career, you need either study or you need to have some clients first. So use clients, working colleagues, or the people that know exactly your value in the new sector to endorse you. The very effective way is still the recommendation. And finally, well, the banner, just put it. If you put, I don't know, if you work for the energy sector, put it there. It makes it really pretty clear in the first impression.
Another question, LinkedIn or Xing? What is better tool for people?
Very good question. I would say if your clients or your recruiters are typical from the DACH region, by that I mean Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, and you speak German only, then I would suggest you to have also a Xing profile. But I would say 90% of the people would go first on LinkedIn. I very recently saw a colleague of mine that put a post in his LinkedIn saying, dear clients and colleagues, I just moved to LinkedIn. So if you want to see my profile, look at it on LinkedIn. I would say LinkedIn is more international.
And what about LinkedIn? Basic version or premium one? So the premium is worth to invest.
I would say the premium version helps you in 3 factors. First of all, if you're applying for a job, you have statistics and KPIs, like are the skills that are offering in my profile matching the vacancy? So there's a kind of matching factor like 60%, like sales management, project management, and programming that matches and covers, let's say, 40% of the requirements of the vacancy. Plus, you can understand how many people has applied from LinkedIn. So if you're looking for a job, it helps you a lot. Or if you're looking for a candidate, you are not HR manager, you need a premium version. And there's also another thing that is knowledge sharing, meaning that linked learning works a little bit like Udemy. So you can find a lot of different courses there. They are probably more related to marketing and LinkedIn, but still there's a lot of very good content that I can also share. If I'm a premium version, I can share with someone at least one course. That's another feature for premium. If you don't need these features, the free version is more than enough.
Great. And
yeah, you can also see the one who is look in your profile. They're not just one or two, like everyone. That's another feature of premium.
Yeah, exactly. Good feature. Why do people keep sharing about adding flowers? How do you view that? What type of, I don't understand the questions.
Here, adding followers.
Followers, sorry, adding followers. How do you view that? Yeah. So why do people keep adding followers? How do you view that?
Meaning that you're following someone or you have been followed by someone? Probably that you are following someone. Well, if I got right the question, if you're following someone or a company, you got all the information about them. Like, for example, the posts or whatever they're posting. That's basically the feeds, so-called feeds. if I got the question right.
Is that what the question was about? Is it enough answer, or I think Anu was asking that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Why do people keep sharing about?
You can talk. I mean, we're just 16 participants. You can talk if you prefer.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
this is Anu.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, now I got you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to ask, there are a lot of people on LinkedIn all over the place who are saying, please follow me or add me, follow. I have these many followers. This is what I do. Please, I'm helping you add followers. Why do people do that, and how do you view all that activity?
Well, adding followers means that you have a so-called company page. When someone is working for a company or is creating his own company, then he creates on LinkedIn a page. Now, the more follower you have, the more visible you are. There are some statistics going on LinkedIn. Like if you go on Bill Gates, well, they have millions of followers, of course. If you have a company with, I created recently mine, to be totally honest, if you have just few followers, well, it means that you're kind of not so important or you're not so strong on the market. It's very similar to the endorsement and the skills. If only one is endorsing you in marketing, probably you're not, or either you're completely new in marketing or you're not so strong. And the similar is with the followers. The more followers you have, better is your reputation, so to say.
So can I ask a follow-up? So does that mean you should chase followers or connections, or you probably have, but if not, then how do you build the connections? It takes a very long time to build connections if you're if you're doing it organically.
Very, very interesting question. If you're looking for a connection, meaning networking, if I got it right, like having a large audience that looking for your posts and so on, I would suggest you to do two things. You can, LinkedIn works like a search machine, okay? You can put the new sector, someone Daniela talked about, for example, if it was Daniela, digital marketing. And it comes down a search with all the professional that works in digital marketing in your area. So what you can do in order to connect is adding them, but don't do it just adding them, because you want to use this network in an efficient way. So you can add them and say, hi, Antonio, I see that you're an expert. Maybe you can have a 15 minutes talk and help me in starting my business, or engaging them for your business. So I suggest you to have a large network, but the one that you can even use once you need them. Instead of just having a name, you have no clue why it belongs to your network. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, so I mean, if there is any more last question, then now, but if you have more question, I think because lots of people left, and we can, you know, take the question offline, and you can contact the coaches directly as well through the platform info@discovernewu.net, and then we happy to take your questions. So even if one has last questions, then now, and hope to come back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for thanking us.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, and everybody will get this recording and presentation, of course, as well, to share it after the webinar. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Antonio and Claire, and have a nice day.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.